Let's take a look at how to deal with algebraic expressions and equations. So in this first video for this section, we're going to take a look at algebraic expressions. We're going to focus on numeric expressions. So we're going to evaluate each of the following expressions by hand, meaning we're going to try our best to do it without a calculator. So this is really checking our knowledge of the order of operations, which I'm going to remind everyone that it's parentheses followed by exponents, multiplication and division in order from left to right, and then addition and subtraction in order from left to right. So you may remember PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I've heard lots of different acronyms for this, okay? The most important thing is that parentheses are grouping, and we have to do whatever's inside of them first. We don't see any parentheses here. But then we also have to do multiplication and division from left to right and addition and subtraction from left to right. So when I take a look at this expression over here, all right, reading from left to right, I see addition, subtraction, division. So I'm going to do the division first because it's multiply and divide from left to right. So let's deal with the division first. So we're going to do this step right here. So 24 divided by 4 is 6. And then I'm going to write the rest of the problem around it. So I still have 1 plus 17 minus 6 times 2 plus 3 minus 5. Okay, so that was step 1. Step 2 is going to be, we'll identify what happens next. I see a lot of addition and subtraction, but then I see this multiply right here. So now I want to do the multiply next. Well, 6 times 2 is 12. And then I'm going to write the rest of the problem around it. So I've got 1 plus 17 minus 12 plus 3 minus 5. And addition and subtraction happens from left to right. So I'm just going to go in order from left to right. So left, here I have 18. Then I still have minus 12 plus 3 minus 5. Then I have 18 minus 12 is 6. And then plus 3 minus 5. And then to finish this off, 6 plus 3 is 9. And then 9 minus 5 gives me a final answer of 4. Okay, so the final answer here is 4. And if I had typed this entire expression into a scientific or graphing calculator, I would have come up with the answer of 4. Okay? So that's evaluating an expression by hand. Now we're going to do a few more problems just to make sure that we know how to deal with all different sorts of situations. All right, here we go. Problem number 2. So the first thing I see is I don't see any parentheses anywhere, but I do see this exponent. So I have to deal with the exponent first. So I'm going to have 11 minus 36 divided by, and then I'm going to write the times 2 plus 5. And I'm going to fill in the blank there. 3 squared is 9. Okay. Now from left to right, I have to do division if it shows up first. So this is another case where the division shows up before the multiplication over here. So I'm going to do the division first. So 36 divided by 9 is 4. Write the rest of the problem around it. So I have 11 minus 4 times 2 plus 5. I'll do the multiplication next. So 4 times 2 is 8. And now I'm going to have 11 minus 8 plus 5. And you can start doing shortcuts in your head. You don't have to write every little detail out. But from here, what I'm going to do is 11 minus 8 is 3. And then 3 plus 5 is back to 8. So final answer here is 8. All right, and then for problem number 3, we've got to be really careful when it comes to exponents, especially with signed numbers. Now, I see parentheses, so I'm going to deal with that to start off. So 2 minus 4 is negative 2. All right, and then I still have the squared outside of it, the minus 3 in front of it, the plus 19 in front of that. And now I'm going to take a look at, I'm going to leave a blank spot there. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm just going to write it for right now. Minus 7 squared. Okay, there's the rest of the problem. So I dealt with the parentheses first. Now I'm going to deal with all of the exponents at the same time. Now this is where you need to be really, really careful. This right here, okay, is really just subtracting 7 squared. It's not negative 7 quantity squared. All right, there is a difference between, this little side note, this isn't going to stay here. Negative 7 squared is negative 7 times negative 7. But minus 7 squared like this is minus 7 times 7. I'm just doing the 7 squared, not the negative squared. If you want a negative to be raised to an exponent, it has to be in parentheses with the exponent on the outside of the parentheses, like we see over here, okay? All right, so what are we really going to end up with here? Let's get this stuff out of our way. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. All right, so negative stays. 7 squared is 49. Then I have plus 19 minus 3 times. Negative 2 squared means do negative 2 times negative 2. That gives me a positive 4. And then the denominator, I have 10, take away, subtract 2 to the 4th. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 to the 4th power is 16. So this right here is 16. Okay. All right. Now, the fraction bar kind of acts like a grouping symbol. I need to simplify the numerator down to a single number, simplify the denominator down to a single number. All right. So here's how I'm going to do that. The 3 times 4 here, I'm going to change that to a 12. So I have negative 49 plus 19 is negative 30. Negative 30 minus 12 is negative 42. So I'm going to have a negative 42 up top. And my denominator, 10 minus 16, is negative 6. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So my final answer here is positive 7. Okay? And the answers don't always have to come out positive. They can come out negative. Again, I'm showing a little bit more detail than what you would be required to show on a test, but the more you write, the easier it is to follow your work. Okay, let's go through a couple more problems. All right. These problems, we want to take a look at how can we put parentheses in to make sure that we actually get the value shown. All right, so we got to kind of play around with it. How can we insert parentheses here? So I need to end up getting 45. Now, how on earth am I going to end up with a 45? Let's see. If I just went in order from left to right, this would be a 3. And then this would get multiplied together to give me 30. Oops. But that doesn't give me a 45. Okay, so let's try it a different way. All right, so if I keep playing around with it, now here's what I notice. 45, and I've got a times 5. Well, if this came out to a 9, 9 times 5 would equal 45, right? So let's try this. If I do 7 minus 4, I get 3. 3 plus 6 is 9. So if I get 9 times 5, I get 45. So that's actually where I want to put my parentheses. I'm going to put them around the 7 through the 6. Okay. To get the second one, second problem, I notice I have a negative involved. There's a negative answer over here. All right, so I have a feeling that there's going to be parentheses somewhere along these lines. Let's play around with it and see what happens. But I want 7 minus something. If I can get 7 minus 50, that will equal negative 43, right? Okay. Now, the way I have it, I've got 7 minus 4 plus 30. That's 34. So that's not right. So I got to move this parenthesis. Let's try putting it here instead. Now the 4 plus 6 is a 10, and then I've got times 5. 10 times 5 does in fact give me the 50 that I need. So I need the parentheses around the 4 plus 6 to get that 10, to get the 10 times 5 to get 7 minus 50. And that's how I get to negative 43. All right. One last thing sort of related to the order of operations that you're going to have to be able to deal with is if you're given a formula, go ahead and plug things into it and then simplify the value from there. All right. So here we've got the formula for simple interest, which is interest, capital I, is equal to PRT, where P is the initial balance or value. It's called the principal value, your starting value. R is the interest rate, which has to be converted to a decimal from a percentage. And T is the amount of time in years. All right, so problem number 6 here says, find the interest that will be earned over the span of 9 months, okay? So 9 months, T equals 9 months, but it says right here that is time in years. So that's 9 months out of 12 months in years. So T is actually equal to 3/4, or 0.75. All right. We've got an interest rate of 4.5%. So on an account that accrues, 4.5%. I need that as a decimal, though. That's 0.045. So this is the R value we're going to use. This is the T value we're going to use. And the interest is going to be earned on the balance of, so the principal balance, the starting balance, is $41,793.18. So to get an answer here, we're going to do interest is equal to the principal value, $41,793.18, times the interest rate, 0.045, times the amount of time in years, 0.75. And of course, I'm not expecting you to do this in your head. I'm expecting you to do this with a calculator. So this interest value comes out to $1,410.52. Okay? That's how much interest would be earned over the course of 9 months if nothing else was done over that amount of time. Okay? And I'm rounding that to 2 decimal places because we are talking about money, so it makes sense for our answer to have 2 decimals, dollars and cents. All right, so that's dealing with the order of operations and dealing with some formulas.